Hey you guys, Thursday night, happy Thursday night. We are live, and tonight what are we talking about? What to do when you feel that guilt after acting like a bad parent. What are some examples of bad parenting? I think we've all been guilty of not our finest parenting moments. Let's see. What are some of my finer parenting moments? Well, my children we were playing Taboo the other night, and there was something for, I guess, yelling. You have to give hints. So there was a hint, you have to say what it is, describe yelling. And both of my children individually, separately from me, said, what mommy does when she gets mad. And I was like, yelling. So that's what I tend to do in my not proudest parenting moments. So anyway, we're going to just talk about some things that you should and shouldn't do after the big eruption takes place. At least that's what it feels like in my house when I have those kinds of moments, is a big eruption. Okay, so what do you do? What led to this? You know, we all have those days. We're exhausted. You know, the kids are getting on our nerves. They're just talking too much. You know, they may do the nonstop talking. Any number of things can trigger these not proud parenting moments. So what do we do once we have them? Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple different things to do, not do. The very first thing that I want you to not do is blame yourself. There was a while that I would constantly apologize to my children and say, oh my God, I'm so sorry, mommy did this or mommy did that. And I ended up apologizing for a lot of things that actually weren't even my fault because of my guilt. I was so guilt-ridden that I ended up apologizing for a lot of things that were not my fault. That is a very, very bad idea. Taking responsibility for things that actually you have nothing to do with. Because guess what? If you say it, then eventually it is so. So if you take responsibility for things that are actually not yours, your children will end up blaming you even if it's not your fault. If you say it's your fault, they'll believe you. So do not take any kind of blame for something out of guilt that you really had nothing to do with. So, you know, here you are yelling at your kid, doing whatever, and then you go back, you apologize. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, you know what? Go apologize to your child. They need to know that it's okay to say that you're wrong. You want them to learn. People aren't perfect. You know, apologize. Don't make a big thing of it. Oh, I'm so sorry. How does this traumatize you? Blah, blah, blah. You know, apologize and let that be the end of it and say, you know, mommy, daddy, whatever, we had a bad moment. But do not take responsibility for things that are not your fault. I did that for a while with my kids, and it took Spencer's therapist saying to me, Elise, you have got to stop taking responsibility for things that you didn't even do. It's just a guilty conscience on your part, and you didn't even do it, so stop it. Because my kids really were blaming me, and I kind of was like, I don't understand. Why do they do that? Well, I told them to blame me, so it's my fault. So, you know, kids, they're going to believe you, so be careful what you tell them. So, and then people worry, people always worry. This is what I get all the time. Oh my God, I was so horrible to my children. Oh my God, that's what they're going to remember. That's what you know, their whole life is going to be based on this horrible moment. And trust me, I have had some seriously terrible moments with my children. And you know what? That's not what they remember. They don't remember those small things. Every single week I get on here and I say, you know, you got to be in it to win it with these kids. And if you're going to change behaviors, you really have to be consistent. And guess what? The same is true if you're going to do something terrible. You know what? Unless you're doing that terrible thing every single day, day in and day out, over and over and over again, they're not going to pick that up. Okay, so you don't need to worry that all of a sudden they're going to be a horrible person as a result of you yelling and screaming like a maniac and you've scarred them for life. It doesn't happen that way. They remember the weirdest things. So relinquish your guilt, no biggie. You know, try not to do it all the time. You know, if that's happening, then that's another that's another conversation. But just like it takes forever to, you know, change a bad behavior, it also takes a lot to change a good behavior into a bad behavior. So keep that in mind. Also, notice what bad parenting for yourself looks like. For me, it sort of always leads back to me yelling. It used to be that I was impatient and then yell. Now I don't really so much get impatient anymore, but when I do get frustrated, I do tend to really, you know, let it out. It's very few and far between now, and certainly not to the extent that they used to be. I used to have big outbursts. But you know, you have to really take notice of that and plan. What is it that is causing that kind of outburst from yourself? What is it that you're feeling guilty about? Oftentimes, it's getting the kids out of the house in the morning. I used to get a lot of phone calls from parents that were so guilt-ridden after they would drop their children off to school because their mornings were so full of chaos. And actually, I've done a Facebook Live about getting your kids out of the house in the morning easily because it is a really stressful time. So if you notice that there's a particularly stressful time of your day, try and plan accordingly or different. I used to have a really hard time when I would drive Spencer to speech. It was after school. Peyton had been in the car for a long time, and it was like 45 minutes away, and the kids were in the car for a really long time, and this is when they used to fight. And I will tell you, I had some of my worst episodes of guilty parenting during those rides. I mean, I had to pull over one time and just get out and scream. So I realized that that was a big trigger for me, being in a car, the kids fighting, that kind of stuff. So rather than flip out and know that I'm going to flip out, I needed to come up with a better plan and try and figure out how to make the car rides more productive. So if you can sort of look at what your bad parenting stems from and plan accordingly, that is super, super, super important. So, you know, do you yell? I mean, I know some parents say abusive things to their children that they later on seriously regret. You really need to make sure that you have that in check and that you really are getting that under control. I mean, like I said, we all have bad parenting moments, but it's just to the degree what it is. You know, if you're starting to say really abusive things, then it's time to investigate something further and look into it, maybe therapy or something like that. If you have anger issues, which children can certainly pull us to the brink of, but you know, chances are you're being much harder on yourself than your children think you are. And then finally, after you've assessed and after you've sort of come up with a game plan of how to avoid those triggers, then there still may be moments where you're going to have a meltdown. We're not perfect. So when you feel that sort of brewing, give yourself a timeout. Excuse yourself. No matter where you are, excuse yourself. Or you can simply, depending on the age of your children, my kids are old enough now, I let them know. You know what? I am freaking out right now. This is what just happened to me, and I need a moment. You guys need to seriously back off, and I will, sorry, Joe just came in here. I will take a time out and excuse myself, let them know what's going on, and then come back. Like I said, I will my kids are old enough that I can let them know I didn't sleep last night, I just had a bad conversation on the phone, I'm feeling super irritable. Let them know that. Warn them. My kids know what happens after I blow my stack, so by warning them, it really does alert them. Okay, you know what? This is time for us to sort of quiet down, give mommy a break. It's fair. And just like your kids can come in and have a bad day, and we can be sympathetic and empathetic to them. It's the same thing. I needed a timeout today after dealing with AT&T. Yes, well, everyone needs a timeout after dealing with AT&T, Jen. I mean, we need a timeout after dealing with cable, AT&T, American Express, Visa. We, it's a given, absolutely. But like I said, I know going into those things, getting on the phone with AT&T, I know going into that I need to have such a cool head. I need to allot an hour of my time. I know, Jen, you said it was an hour and 45, but it's the same thing. You have to prepare and plan for these things. We are human. We are absolutely human. So that's really it. It was 4 really simple steps to dealing with the bad parenting moment. Understand, be kind to yourself. Everybody has them. It's not a big deal. Don't riddle yourself with guilt. Rachel, you're amazing. Off topic, but Eleanor leaves for trip tomorrow AM. Oh my God, yes, that's totally off topic. That was my summer camp. I loved it so much. And Peyton, of course, does not want to go away to summer camp, which is just fine by me. But it was such a great experience for me to go away to summer camp. So for all those kiddies that are going away to camp, have an awesome time. So that's basically it tonight. It's a short one, but it's a good one. So to review, I wrote down my notes. Don't say what you have done wrong to your children that you did not do. Do not take blame for something that you did not do. Don't over guilt yourself. Takes more than one bad parenting moment to have that much of an effect on your child. I know you feel super guilty, but don't let it ruin you. Notice when your bad parenting comes. Is there a particular time of day? Is there a particular thing that triggers it? Like I said, mine was in the car going on long distance with my children. Sometimes people may have I also used to have a really difficult time with homework, preparing dinner, getting lunches ready, and I just changed some things up. My kids had to start making their own lunches, and I handled dinner differently. So there are lots of different things that you can do. Just make sure you know when those moments are coming. And also, like I said, really, really, really take that time out. Take the moment for yourself, walk away, go in the other room, scream at the wall if you have to get it out. Do whatever you need to do. Just try not to do it to your children if you feel it's sort of bubbling up inside. Go in the other room, and like I said, warn your kids. My kids, really, if I'm like, I am having a bad day, back off. Seriously, they're like, got it. No problem, Mom, we got it. So teach them that, and they can come to you when they're having a bad moment and say the same thing. I'm having a bad moment. Please just give me a couple minutes, Mom. And understand that they model our behavior. So whatever we're doing, they'll pick up on that. So if you can turn that around, it'll teach them the same thing. So that is it for tonight. Everybody, I know all the northern camp schools are just now getting off school, which I can't believe. Peyton's and her going, next week will be her 3rd week of camp. So everybody have an awesome weekend. If you guys are sending your children away to camp, give them big kisses. This is your summer for yourself. So take this time for yourself, plan something super, super amazing, recharge, regroup, do all those great things, and definitely do something for yourself. Don't just, waste the summer away. Set a goal, achieve it, do it. Be awesome when your kids get back. So have a great weekend, and to all the kiddies that are going away to summer camp, have an awesome summer, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.